So influence and assets doesn't always mean what you think it does. And seriously, what's important to me is that you understand there are flipped versions also of influence and of assets. And so in this first podcast, I'm going to talk primarily about assets. But I want to do it from a perspective of both what is visible in assets, that could be, right, physicality, as well as bank and boat and whatever. I record in Naples, Florida. However, I'm connected to the Midwest, the United States, and everywhere globally. And so I'm going to also talk to you about the intangible assets that are so important for all of us. And my intentions with the podcast is to do a wide range of the concept of influence and assets, so that it is, whether you're interested in real estate or not, whether you live here or you live somewhere else, that it makes a way to connect us for lots of just good, interesting, fun insight, and maybe a little education, maybe some real estate sales, media sales, and other things like that. But this is my point. Assets can be, right, that retirement account. They can certainly be what pays the bills, what is the regular pieces. They can certainly be the luxury, because I live in a place, Naples, Florida, at this stage and age where we have a wide range of people that are working here, which I'm working here, and we have people that obviously are at the top end of, doesn't matter if they're 23 or 90 is what we're experiencing now, of people that are in, literal luxury categories. But what I can tell you is there is, even within those categories of assets, both loud and soft assets, the style of how they do their assets. So we get everything between people who are very loud about their assets. They want to show you all the time. They want to show you on social media, whether they do or don't have the asset. They're busy curating my whatever it is. I am barefoot a lot. I can go from barefoot to boots to heels, from sitting on the beach with somebody who has nothing to somebody who has an amazing situation of something. I can tell you some people are incredibly happy with their assets. Some are not. So in this wide swing of what I'm trying to talk and point out to you in assets is these type of things. There are some that are very loud about their assets, whether they are a wealth, what you think is a wealth kind of asset. Another wealth kind of asset I can certainly tell you is health. Health is an amazing asset. You may be young and think you will have it all the time. I come from a sports background, and so I also have seen plenty of young athletes have heart attacks and not be here, or something happen, right? I am at the age and stage, which I am almost 58 years old. I am incredibly fortunate to feel able to physically do what I need to do. I've actually been hit by a semi as well. So there are things that are really challenging, and yet I'm in a place where I don't take any type of medication. I don't need any kind of brace or thing or something, right? You may not think about that. An asset as well in health can be breathing. I don't take it for granted I can breathe. I've seen other people lose their breath, literally, whether of their own demise, of not theirs, of something. I have someone in my family who breathing is an incredibly difficult thing. And so for me, I'm somebody who realizes I have the asset of breathing. That's just absolutely amazing, right? I also here, in terms of asset, have the ability to meet people that have all different experiences and walks and talks of life that are interesting to me. So the variety and the plethora and the depth and the lighthearted and the fun for me is like, wow. And it doesn't mean I don't experience it other places, right? One of your assets may be, are you good at talking to people? Just a Brief conversation because you're at the grocery store or you're traveling or you are that mom who raised kids and now this new mom is with her child with the stroller, right? Those are assets that are amazing for us that a lot of people don't necessarily think about. So when you see me do things that have to do with influence and assets, I am saying it from this beautifully deep, rich, lovely, colorful, lighthearted, modern, minimalist, and not thing and place. And I think often in the United States in particular, we think it just means this 3D thing we got taught, that it's supposed to be volume and size and loud, right? And yet for a lot of people, a beautiful asset is peace. Peace. To be peaceful, to be not in a conflict situation, to not be in a spot where you are affected every day by your interactions with other people or other situations. That's an amazing, beautiful thing. I think not enough is done in the category of assets to really, especially on social media and in real life, the different type of assets, pieces and classes, right? And sometimes it can be this thing of, I want to stay separated by my assets, right? And I understand that. But also I may want to stay separated by my assets, right? Because huge ego is not an asset to me. It's not something I'm interested in. That mindset's sometimes tough. Other people may see a huge ego as an asset. This is why it's good that we can do things together that are in an asset class, complementary, right? And separate and different, fine. And also sharing, right? So I also invite you to look at the places where you have assets of any kind, including an inheritance. And it may not be a bank account or a physical inheritance. I mean, physical in terms of a house or something, whatever. What did you inherit? What did you inherit? And I would take it further. It may certainly be from your parents, in physicality, and not just from your parents, right? From grandparents and cousins and everybody that was into that art that happened. What did you inherit? I know one of the assets my children inherited, whether they like it or not, and I know they do like it, is a big heart from their mom. I have my first grandchild. So Lily is my first grandchild. And she has my heart, a piece of it. She has all the modeling and love and things that were given for decades and decades to my children every day. She will have, because her parents are inviting that and encouraging that, the asset of that love and light and interaction, and all of that is going to grow and build her and cheer for her and help her heal if something is hard. All of those inheritance can be amazing. And then I'll take you further an asset of, you can inherit something from someone that's obviously not related to you. Did you have a teacher at one point, or a neighbor, or a coach, or someone? Might have been a very brief encounter. So it could have been just a few seconds that massively gave you an inheritance that impacts how you are or the rest of your life, right? Those pieces can be inheritable assets that we can have. For me, one you may not realize is, one of my assets is I'm incredibly great in an emergency situation. How many people have that asset? There are a few of us. I'm a nanosecond responder. I'm able to see just little shades of something that are out of place or seem different or whatever. I'm able to react quickly. I don't get stunned typically. And I've been in a lot of situations over time, both work and personal, and able to help, whether it's one individual that's calm because I feel literally at this time I'm going to lose my life, to we are having a medical situation and there's a whole crowd of people, and what do we need to be doing? Do you think about these things as an asset? They're definitely an asset. I can guarantee you, you want at least a friend, a neighbor, a worker that is a great emergency responder, because it's helpful. It's helpful for the individuals. It's helpful for the crowd, right? These are some of the assets that we don't necessarily think about. We move further into assets and go, what are the assets at different stages and ages that are interesting and important to you? One of them I happen to know is that I am at kind of the golden good stage and age, in that I have enough life experience that it's helpful for both my peers and my colleagues and my clients that are around me at this stage and situation. Oh, the sun in Southwest Florida just popped up. That's where you saw the difference here. It's awesome. I feel like that's an important asset and joy for me, and to share it. But these are pieces that can be hugely important also to people who are older. I also serve a senior market in terms of real estate. There are a lot of people that need someone who's trustworthy, cares, and all of that, has the assets of those pieces to help them literally with their assets and their family or loved ones, of how are we able to transition this piece of real estate or move mom or dad to different real estate, or now the adult kids, what do we do with this asset of real estate that we do or we do not want, right? Or we may want to make it something different. So take that asset and twist it into, now we're going to do this with it, or something like that. These kind of pieces are incredibly important and valuable to a lot of different people. A big piece of my point here is to just, you will see some of my media and interaction shaping and changing, which is good. And it is just growing and evolving with what's happening with our lives now, with people feeling not as connected as they have felt in the past. That's a huge piece of influence. And I do not mean it to the regards of, I say that both tongue in cheek and flip both ways, of influence. Every single person has influence. It doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't have to be on social media. I want every person to understand you have influence just because you're here. And if you're interacting at all with anybody, even that one person at your house. I knew when I was raising my 3 children, there's an asset piece and an influence piece. I knew when I was raising my 3 children in Middleton, Wisconsin, I was doing work that would matter in the world forever. Think about that. I was doing work for the world with those 3 little children, Katie, CJ, Julia, in my house, in my community, with our family, out and around, because they were going to be going into the world and doing their thing and sharing their talent and doing their work. That's a cool thing for you to understand when it comes to assets and influences. I'm not going to keep you any longer today, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of flavor and a little bit of insight into, please consider all assets that you have, that you can develop, that you can share, that you may or may not want and can get rid of or trade or change if you'd like to. And I appreciate you showing up today.